Beamy girl trusting my boyfriend deeply. He always knew how to hold me when the world felt heavy, collapsing down. Sundays he brought coffee straight to bed. Remembered every small wish I whispered. Sent silly texts at midnight making me laugh. For me he was more than love. He was safe home wrapped in warmth. My heart rested fully inside his hands. I believed nothing could ever break us. His smile felt like unshakable promise. His touch steady like anchor in storm. Every day with him felt protected whole. I never doubted his steady gentle words. Never imagined shadows hiding behind his eyes. Until the night everything cracked open sharp. When a message arrived by pure accident. Phone glowing on table screen unlocked bright. He was in shower water rushing loud. My eyes caught glimpse of single line. For words that split my chest apart. Please don't ever tell her, written clear. My heart dropped, sinking deep without control. Fingers moved, reaching for phone themselves. I told myself don't look, just wait. But screen already showed pieces of truth. Chat window open, name I knew. A girl I had seen before, smiling. His words spilling lines of quiet betrayal. I miss your voice so much. Being with you feels like air. I don't know who to choose. My breath caught ribs closing sharp inside. Every sentence burned dreams into ashes fast. Scroll after scroll broke me apart. Jokes they shared twisted like knives. Promises whispered in digital silence cruel. I froze, staring numb at glowing screen. One thought echoed like heavy hammer. How long had he lied like this? How long had my home been illusion? Tears blurred letters, but I kept reading. Until heart felt shattered into splinters. Bathroom door opened, steam spilling into room. He stepped out smiling, hair dripping wet. Towel around shoulders, eyes soft and calm. Then he saw phone clutched in hands. Our eyes locked, silence cutting deeper sharp. He froze, knowing truth already uncovered here. Words veiled, lips parted, stuttering excuses weak. I stayed still, sitting frozen on the chair. The quiet between us screamed louder than rage. He tried explaining, twisting words around quickly. It's not what you think, believe me. I was confused, please just listen once. His voice cracked, reaching shaking hand toward me. But every word floated empty through the air. My ears only heard one piercing thought. The man I trusted fully chose between us. Chose to balance love like a game. My heart heavy, shattered, bleeding in silence. His mouth kept moving, mine stayed closed. Silence itself was already final answer. I did not scream, throw, or break glass. I did not run storming out the door. Instead I sank down slowly to the floor. Phone heavy in my trembling, shaking hands. Tears slid quietly without single loud sob. My chest burned, but voice stayed trapped inside. He paced circles, restless, pulling hair, frustrated. Whispered, please don't end this like that. His eyes frantic, but I barely saw him. I stared blankly into space, not moving. Because screaming means hope still alive somehow. But silence means everything already ended now. The weight of betrayal pressed against my ribs. Louder than his begging words, spinning fast. My tears hit ground, soft, quiet, steady. He froze, realizing nothing could undo this moment. Our love cracked, collapsed without single sound. And that silence echoed louder than storm. Hours passed, shadows stretched across the walls. He kept pacing room, whispering broken lines. It was mistake, please just forgive once. I swear you mean everything to me. His words clashed hollow against the silence. My eyes swollen red but still steady. I whispered nothing, lips sealed tight, closed. Because what could heal shattered trust now? My safe home revealed itself a lie. My anger turned into sharp blade instead. I watched him crumble, unable to sit still. But pain inside me heavier than pity. My tears fell quiet into empty hands. Each drop reminder of love I lost. Not stolen by strangers but given away. Given by the one I trusted most. I curled, knees to chest, shaking quietly. While he stared, helpless, searching for an answer. But answer already carved deep in silence. That night dragged endless without single word more. I lay on floor, eyes burning from tears. He sat on bed, head buried in hands. Space between us wider than any ocean. Once safe home now felt like empty shell. Walls echoed with silence sharper than knives. I thought of mornings with coffee in bed. Thought of midnight texts filled with love. Each memory now twisted into cruel irony. My chest ached heavy with broken illusions. He whispered once, "Please don't give up." But even his voice sounded distant, hollow, gone. Because my heart already knew the truth. This wasn't mistake, it was choice repeated. My trust cracked, splintered beyond repair now. I closed my eyes, letting tears run freely. Realizing silence was stronger than any scream. Silence was final line drawn in stone. That night love quietly died without fight. Morning came but light felt cold and empty. He brewed coffee, setting cup before me. Same ritual, once warm now hollow, fragile. I stared at steam rising without touching. He watched, desperate eyes searching for response. "Please talk to me, say something," he begged. But my lips stayed closed, heavy with truth. Because words could not stitch shattered pieces together. I remembered his texts to her line by line. "You are air when I suffocate inside. I can't decide who deserves my heart." Each memory stabbed sharper than fresh blade. My fingers gripped mug but hands shook hard. He reached forward whispering, "It's only you now." But lie already carved too deep to erase. My silence cut sharper than rejection itself. He lowered gaze, realizing answer lived in quiet. Love we built reduced to ashes in morning light. Days blurred together, filled with heavy silence. He tried cooking dinners, leaving flowers on table. Notes written shaky, "I will change, please." But nothing touched the hollow inside my chest. I walked through house like stranger in dream. Rooms once warm now echoed with betrayal. Every smile he gave felt like mask. Every touch carried shadow of another name. Nights I lay awake staring at ceiling. Tears pooling quietly until pillow was soaked. He reached, sometimes hand trembling toward mine. But I pulled back, heart refusing connection. Because trust once broken doesn't heal with roses. It demands truth he never chose to give. I thought of her face, smile innocent. Wondered if she knew the weight of me. Or if she was just another shadow too. My body present but soul already walking away. Toward a future without lies holding me down. One evening he knelt down beside me quietly. Eyes red, voice hoarse from sleepless nights. "Tell me what to do, I'll fix it." His hands shook, reaching desperate for forgiveness. But my heart already closed, heavy, locked. I remembered the chat words burned forever. "Meeting you feels like breathing again finally." Those lines screamed louder than his pleas now. I pulled my hand away, slowly, steady. Whispered softly, "You already chose, not me." His face crumbled, shoulders collapsing in defeat. Tears filled his eyes, spilling without control. But pity could not rebuild the bridge burned. My chest ached but resolve stayed firm. I stood quietly, leaving him on floor. His sobs echoed while my steps moved away. Love that once held me safe as home now lay broken into ashes beyond repair. And silence followed me, heavier than chains. Nights alone became my place of grieving. I sat by window staring into dark. Street lights flickered like reminders of old warmth. My chest hollow yet strangely steady now. I replayed his laughter, words, small gestures. Each memory cracked open with hidden lies. Love letters now tasted bitter as poison. Midnight texts felt like daggers in disguise. Tears flowed quiet, soaking into my sleeves. But anger never came, only deep sorrow. Because betrayal was not rage but emptiness. Knowing he was my safe home once. And that home collapsed into illusion of safety. I whispered to myself in quiet mantra. Never again give heart to careless hands. My voice shook but promise grew steady. Moonlight bathed me soft, reminding of strength. That night silence comforted more than his words. Silence became new beginning carved in pain. Morning light revealed rooms heavy with absence. He moved around quiet, avoiding my eyes. Every gesture felt forced like broken rehearsal. He set cup of coffee down again. Same ritual but it tasted bitter, hollow. I sipped once then pushed it away. His lips parted, searching words without meaning. Please just tell me what you feel. My gaze stayed fixed on the floor. Because truth already screamed inside my chest. I feel nothing where love once lived. I didn't speak it aloud, only thought. But silence hung heavy, cutting sharper than blades. He slumped into chair, head buried low. Our kitchen filled with ghosts of us. Pictures on fridge now cruel reminders. Smiles frozen while trust turned to dust. I stood up quietly, chair scraping floor. His eyes followed but I walked past. Toward hallway that no longer felt home. I found myself packing clothes into a bag. Hands trembling but movement steady with choice. Each folded shirt felt like piece of goodbye. He entered doorway, eyes wide filled with panic. "Please don't leave, we can fix us." His voice cracked, breaking under heavy weight. I paused once, clutching sweater to my chest. Memories of mornings, laughter, coffee flashed fast. But then her name cut through like knife. Reminded me nothing here could feel safe again. "Love isn't something you weigh between two," I whispered, cold though lips shook inside. His tears fell, but I didn't turn back. Zipper closed, bag heavy like stone in arms. I walked past him without another word. His sobs echoed sharp against the silent walls. My feet carried me out the door. Into night air, crisp and painfully real. Leaving behind illusion that once felt like home. Street outside felt colder than the room. Wind cut sharp but still cleaner than lies. I walked aimlessly, suitcase rolling on pavement loud. Each step carried weight but also release. My heart shattered yet strangely lighter with truth. City lights blurred through my swollen tears. I whispered softly, "Never again like this." Promised myself to guard heart with fire. My phone buzzed, his name lighting screen. Message after message, pleading, begging forgiveness. I stared blankly, then locked it away. Because words could not rebuild broken trust. Silence now, my answer clearer than anything. I reached corner, sat on bench alone. Breathing heavy night air into my chest. Pain still raw, cutting deep every breath. But freedom pulsed beneath it like spark. For first time I chose myself fully. Even through tears I held on to strength. Days after blurred together in heavy silence. Friends asked questions I couldn't yet answer. I smiled weakly, saying only we're over. Their eyes filled with pity and shock. But no one knew the letters I read. No one saw the night my world collapsed. Alone in room I replayed it again. The glowing screen, words etched into memory. His laugh beside hers like blade twisting deep. My tears fell endless, soaking empty pillow. Anger flickered but sorrow always stronger, louder. I whispered into dark, "Why wasn't I enough?" Voice cracked but no reply ever came. Only echo of betrayal haunted the air. I curled into blanket, clutching my chest. Trying to stitch together pieces of me. Each breath heavy but proof I survived. Slowly realizing survival was beginning, not end. That even broken I was still here. Nights became mirror of pain and resolve. I lay awake staring into ceiling cracks. Remembering laughter that now tasted like poison. His promises replayed as hollow empty echoes. My chest hurt but anger began to rise. Not at her, not even fully at him. But at myself for ignoring the signs. For trusting blindly without questioning shadows once. Yet even in blame I felt spark. Spark of strength that whispered, "Never again." Betrayal carved scar but also built fire. Fire to guard heart from careless hands. I turned over, wiped tears from face. Whispered aloud into dark empty room. I choose myself from now forward. Words shaky but steady enough to hold. My body still trembling but spirit shifting. For first time silence didn't feel like end. It felt like fragile start of something new. Morning light spilled across half-empty apartment. His things still lingered like ghosts in corners. Jacket on chair, mug left in sink. Each object stabbed with memory of lies. I gathered them slowly into a box. Hands steady though eyes blurred with tears. Every folded shirt felt like releasing weight. When doorbell rang my chest tightened sharp. He stood there, eyes dark from nights. Voice cracked, "Please just hear me once." I handed box into his shaking hands. No anger, just quiet steady resolve inside. "This isn't your home anymore," I whispered. His lips parted but no words formed. Tears welled as he turned away slowly. Footsteps fading down hallway like closing chapter. I shut door, leaning against wood heavy. My body trembling but spirit steady inside. For first time space felt like mine. A place where healing could finally begin. Days turned into weeks filled with rebuilding slowly. I learned to wake without checking my phone. Coffee tasted bitter but mine alone again. Music played quietly, filling empty silent rooms. At first each song cut open old wounds. Lyrics twisting memories of nights together cruel. But slowly melodies began to heal scars. I hummed softly, washing dishes in sink. Felt warmth returning like fragile sunlight inside. Friends visited, bringing laughter into quiet spaces. Their voices reminded me love still existed. Not romantic love but steady true connection. I smiled faintly, realizing I was not alone. Betrayal no longer felt like entire identity. It was chapter but not the whole story. I whispered softly into mirror each morning. You deserve more than broken promises. And each day voice grew stronger, clearer, building me back piece by fragile piece. Some nights memories returned sharp and heavy. I saw his smile in empty reflections. Heard his laugh echo through hollow hallways. My chest tightened, tears rising without warning. But instead of drowning, I let them fall. Sat quietly, letting pain wash then fade. Reminded myself healing is not straight path. It bends, breaks, then builds itself again. I wrote thoughts into journal page by page. Scribbles messy but carrying weight outside me. I miss what I thought was real. But I don't miss the lies anymore. Each line carved strength into fragile heart. Slowly shadows lost power to control me. I closed book feeling lighter than before. Knowing pain could coexist with hope. That scars could hold both hurt and fire. I whispered into night, I'm still here. And those words became anchor for tomorrow. Weeks later I walked past our old cafe. Window seats where he once held my hand. Smiles that felt like forever carved inside. I paused, heart clenching, then breathed out slow. Instead of tears, a calm settled within. I realized those moments belonged to past now. Not prison, just lessons I carried forward. I stepped inside, ordered coffee alone, proud. Sat by window watching strangers rush outside. Cup warm between hands, steady and free. Memories flickered but no longer broke me. They became proof I survived his betrayal. Proof I could stand even after falling hard. I sipped slowly, whispering to myself, quiet. This is my home now, not his. And with each sip strength grew deeper, steady. By time cup was empty, I smiled. Knowing I reclaimed space once filled with pain. And turned it into mark of healing. One morning sunlight spilled across my desk. I opened laptop to start writing again. Words flowed messy but honest onto page. Not about him but about my journey. About betrayal, silence, and finding my voice. Fingers moved steady, faster with each line. I wrote, pain is not my ending. It is the start of something stronger. Tears blurred screen, but they were healing ones. Not from sorrow but from release of weight. For hours I poured truth onto pages. Until my chest felt lighter, freer inside. I closed laptop, breathing steady, proud of me. For reclaiming story he once tried to steal. My voice no longer chained to his lies. My voice now belonged only to myself. I whispered, this is who I am now. And silence in room felt warm, not cold. A silence that carried promise of new life. Friends invited me out one late evening. Music loud, lights flashing across crowded room. At first my chest tightened, heavy with doubt. Crowds reminded me of nights with him. But then laughter surrounded, pulling me in. I danced small steps, then larger, free ones. Felt rhythm moving through body like fire. For first time joy didn't taste bitter. My smile spread wide, unforced and alive. Friends cheered, pulling me closer into circle. In that moment I knew I was healing. Because I laughed without memory of him. Laughed because I owned my happiness now. Hours passed but I felt only lighter. Walking home, air crisp, stars glowing above. I whispered softly, I choose myself always. Words echoed steady against quiet night sky. And I believed them with all of me. My heart beating strong toward future unknown. But no longer afraid of being alone. Months passed, carrying me further from his shadow. Apartment once hollow, now filled with warmth. Plants by windows, books stacked on shelves. Walls covered with photos of new memories. Laughter of friends spilled into quiet rooms. My life no longer paused at betrayal. It moved forward step by fragile step. Sometimes I still saw his name flash. Old texts buried deep in phone history. But I never opened them, never replied. Because past had no hold on me now. Love is not chains but wings instead. And mine finally spread free into light. I cooked dinners, humming songs to myself. Sat by window sipping tea in peace. Nights calm without ache pressing my chest. Scars remained but they told story of survival. Story of choosing myself over broken promises. And every sunrise reminded me of strength. And now I stand stronger than before. Not girl who trusted blindly but woman awake. My heart scarred yet steady, filled with fire. I know love should never feel like fear. It should not ask me to compete. It should not break then beg for silence. I left behind a home built on lies. And built my own from truth and strength. Sometimes I wonder what others would do. If they saw message glowing on screen. Would you close your eyes and pretend? Would you walk away or still forgive? I ask you now with open heart. What would you do in my place? Share your answer down in the comments. Because your words might guide someone hurting. And if you've ever felt silence heavier than screams, leave a like so I know I'm not alone.